Hello, a very good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen, from wherever you're watching as well. Welcome to another interesting episode of the Candid Talk here on Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Evan Sokinyi. Such a pleasure to have you on board. I'm joined by Professor Herman Manyora here. How are you, sir?
Good.
We are here looking at how things are taking place in the country. Of course, our entire crew is still on the ground. Jadel is walking around looking at how things are moving on. Is going to look at how certain things are taking place in the country. But we are here with you, ready to have this conversation. Remember the last time we had a conversation with you was on the graft that was actually enabling, or rather showing itself rearing its ugly neck at KEMSA.
Yes.
And you said that for you it's a matter of doing away with KEMSA and all that. But then recently, hardly had we had that conversation, and we saw the president come up, and of course we've seen that purge at KEMSA with officers already sacked, others have been reshuffled and all that. With this kind of step that already the president has made, are you convinced in any way that the president is up to the task in as far as fighting graft and corruption in this country is concerned?
Before I answer that, I will ask you whether you have heard of monkeys and forests.
Definitely, I've heard of that.
Okay. If you have heard, then my answer is no. This is just the same. Musical chairs. Monkeys and forests.
But then some people have already faced the axe.
That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The next round of corruption will just emerge from KEMSA. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you still maintain your idea?
In the DNA of KEMSA there is corruption. In the DNA itself. Nobody can be at KEMSA and fail to become a billionaire or a multimillionaire. Yes.
Okay.
Because it's just dripping with money. Free money. You just go for a cup of tea and somebody tells you, why don't you do this? Why doesn't KEMSA order this from Pakistan? Using 300 million, and when it comes, it's your 100 million. It's rubbish. You can't. We have to have another new model of supplying our hospitals with medicine and equipment. It has to be a totally new model, not the KEMSA model. And I'm not for procurement in this country. I've argued repeatedly. If you want to kill problems in supplies, kill the procurement department. You don't need a procurement department.
The president.
You see, let me tell you, professionals in this country, doctors, plus people who are versed in these things, pharmacists, if they sit down, if you give them 2 weeks, beginning at county level, building up at regional level, and then building up at the national level, they'll be able to tell you everything they need for the next 1 month, for the next 6 months, for the next 1 year, for the next 5 years. They will tell you. What's more, the same Kenyans will tell you where these things are manufactured across the world and at what cost, landed in Mombasa. The same people, they will tell you which of these drugs we buy we can produce in Kenya if we are just facilitated with 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 billion that give University of Nairobi so much, 2 billion, give another institution so much, Cambridge so much, and within 2 years, 1 year, 6 months, whatever it is, 40, 50 or so, I'm not exact, but I'm just saying that a very serious amount of what we bring in will be produced here. So KEMSA is there for people to be rich, not because that's the only way we can get medicine to the country. No, it is a way for people to get public funds.
So for you,
not because it is the way we need to bring drugs in the country. No, no.
So
bringing, if you want to bring, just say any drug we use, or bandages, or whatever it is, or spirits, my friend, these are simple. I'm not even a doctor, I'm not in that field, but if you give me 2 weeks, I'll be able to tell you what this country needs and how to get it and where to get it and what cost.
Well,
so you are telling me if I can do it in 2 weeks, doctors in this country and pharmacists can't do it in 2 hours.
Okay. Yeah. Now let's face the reality as it is. KEMSA is still within the and it has not been scrapped off, as you were saying, because you were saying that procurement is some sort of a hurdle in this, and of course it's fueling this kind of corruption that we are witnessing taking place there. Of course, the last time when we had this conversation, you called it theft in the country, but now as it is, KEMSA is still there. That body has not been abolished yet. Why is it that you're saying that the actions of the president, because initially he promised that he'll clean KEMSA no matter what, make sure that he puts in the right people there, and hardly had some hours pass and we saw him
What
do
are
that.
you talking about cleaning? There are people who have stolen money there. Why don't you put them in jail? Then I'll listen to you.
Okay.
Waka watu jail nione. Shika watu waliiba pesa ya dawa. Watu walikula pesa ya COVID. Weka watu kotini wafungwe. Na mkae na judiciary. Uambia ya watu wawe process in the shortest time possible. Okay. 2 weeks wako committee. Then I can listen. This change of transfer this one here. You enda nyumbani kidogo, bring another crook there. This doesn't help anybody. Yeah.
And by the way, what you're talking about here actually has created some sort of public uproar, because people are wondering what is now the significance, or rather the effect of reshuffling people who've been engulfed in such kind of corrupt deals. Already they've got cases at KEMSA, and then you take somebody from that Ministry of Health and then throw the person into another ministry altogether. Does it really help reshuffling these people?
First of all, why did you send the PS home? Yet that is not her docket. That docket belongs to PS Medical Services, who is TOOM, who has now been transferred. Before transferring TOOM, you send the wrong PS home. The only way you can send that PS home is if she's involved in criminal activities. Or if there is evidence she left her docket, her department, crossed over into TOOM's medical department, and they forced those people there in a criminal manner to do what they did, which is not the case. So she's being sent home as a way of taking responsibility. How does she take responsibility for a department which is not hers? So the person who should take responsibility, who is my friend, by the way, it's a very good friend of mine, called TOOM, that's the one who should have gone home. Not this other lady. Moro is innocent. Unless they table what she did. If it is just a question of responsibility, then it should be the PS in charge of medical services, TOOM. Now, you do not transfer such a PS. If you had touched Moro, who is in the wrong department, then you just make the correction by sending to home and returning Moro to work.
But they say her hand was actually in that kind of tender saga that saw the country lose.
Then it will be criminal. It will be criminal. You see, you take responsibility in two ways. If it is under you, you have used your responsibility wrongly, or your sense of judgment was wrong, administrative judgment, or you are simply taking responsibility because we expect you should have been seeing. But anybody else, it cannot be because of taking responsibility. It must be because there is something tangible they have done. And I'm waiting to see what did Mboro do. It must be tangible, not just talk.
So let me get this clear, Prof. KEMSA is here to stay. It has not been abolished, as you were saying here. Of course, it's there. That kind of procurement process is also in there. What could the president have done if at all he was supposed to solve this problem with KEMSA in it?
The first thing the president would need to do is an action such as the one he took. But he must not leave more questions than answers by seeming to touch the wrong people. Number one. But we must applaud him for the action. But people feel, why that lady instead of the right PS? Given that that PS is coming from his community, is my friend, that leaves a lot of questions. More importantly, the president should ask his minister. And that's why I kept saying, please recruit ministers who can be ministers. Recruit cabinet secretaries who can actually be cabinet secretaries. Summon the cabinet secretary in the morning and tell her, within 3 working days, come back here for breakfast on this chair you are seated in State House. Here, 3 days. And tell me the way forward in terms of procurement of drugs. And then she will come and give a proposal to the president. The president will go through it, seek advice from his advisors, and establish a new way of procuring hospital equipment and drugs. Yeah. That I would take. These knee-jerk reactions, they never help anybody. Yeah.
Talking of the cabinet secretary in charge of health, definitely, I saw Raila comment on this, and he said that the country is actually hemorrhaging, according to him. I wonder whether you also buy the statement of the former prime minister. But of course, he was like leaning on the other side, saying very well that KEMSA is under the Ministry of Health, for that matter. Therefore, the cabinet secretary in charge should have also been held responsible for everything taking place here.
Yeah. And let me tell you this. These wazungus, these people like the Global Fund, they don't just wake up one day. They keep seeking answers in the process. So they must have been seeking answers. They cannot just jump one day. They talk to the minister long before. I'm sure. I know how these organized people work. The Global Fund and other partners. They have processes and procedures. And they have sensors. When they sense something wrong, they raise red flags. And those red flags must have been ignored. I'm not sure. But if they are listening to me, they will come and say, Manyora, you are right. And it's for that reason Raila is right. That there's no way the CS could have been ignorant of the goings on within KEMSA. She must have known. And I'm sure if the Global Fund and these other malaria people, whatever they are called, whoever, partners, if they were to come here, they'll say, you are saying the truth. We raised this with the minister, in this email, in this telephone conversation, but she seemed to ignore. Because even expenditure of that magnitude from well-wishers who support our programs on malaria, HIV, AIDS, and all TB, such amounts of money from well-wishers, not your own money. There's no way you can spend that amount of money without the ministry being aware of what's going on. There must be a way in which the minister would know. And I would support Raila, therefore, that the minister or the CS should go home.
So you're saying that Madam Susanna Humicha was actually aware of everything?
She must be aware. If she's not aware, then she's not fit to be.
She cannot convince the country.
There are two things. Either she's aware and close to one eye or both, and therefore she must go home, or she was not aware because she's so incompetent that she can't be a minister, and therefore either way, she must go home.
So it should not just be the small fish, so to say.
And you know, me, I'm being a very good person, and I'm saying this. This country will need to move forward. I keep preaching this gospel. If we don't move this country forward, these young people like you, we are going to eat us alive. The remaining days we need to have in this world. We must move this country to the next level. We must move the country forward. You cannot move the country forward with this kind of mediocrity around. No. A minister is somebody who knows what's going on in KEMSA if they're in charge of health. Yeah, you must know what's going on. You must know the potential of those guys there to behave badly, put their hands in the coffers, in the pot, and create bad blood between us and our donors. It's already happened. You remember there's a time some of these donors, WHO and the rest, had withdrawn from us because of our bad manners in terms of stealing. So the minister should be aware. Anytime there are programs that are funded by international partners, like the Global Fund, that file should always be on the minister's desk. We saw what happened at NYS. And if a minister in charge of a ministry, or the cabinet secretary, must be aware of what's going on in places like KEMSA, to the extent, therefore, that she was not, or she was complicit, then that lady, I support Raila, must start going to
but I saw the health CS come on board, and she did an entire overhaul over the KEMSA board and decided to bring in fresh and new individuals whom she claims will actually be able
those going home, even the other board went. But they're enjoying the money. If they took money, they're enjoying it. If you let me take a billion shillings, then you remove me from the job. So I just go laughing and whistling. What are you talking about? This is nonsense. Yeah. Telling me to go home when I've stolen $1 billion, which I might perhaps share with you a bit.
Okay.
So what have you done? In fact, I need time to go and eat the money. What will I be doing in KEMSA after I've stolen 700 million? I need time to go and spend it.
Okay.
So sending people home, you are doing them a favor. because they needed to go home and assuming they would have taken that money, and assuming they have been in office long enough perhaps to have taken a little money. Taking people home means they have done something wrong. If they haven't done something wrong, you are also wrong because you are spoiling their reputation. Chances of any of these guys getting a job elsewhere are very minimal. Thank you.
Are you saying Susan Nakumisha should be held responsible as well?
She go to Kitale or wherever she comes from. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to stop the conversation at that point, but do not fail to tune into some of our programs that will be coming up next. Of course, Gerald Kabiro will be here and Richard Mwenja as well. Remember, we're still staying on the ground, ready to keep you updated with the analysis of everything taking place in this country. We do hope and pray that our leaders are watching and that they will take actually the necessary action to prevent or avoid future occurrences of some of the things that we're seeing happening in the country that are actually tainting the face of this great nation. Till we have this conversation again, have yourself a lovely day. My name is Evans Okinyi.
Thank you, Okinyi.